Starseed of Gaia. The ache in your chest when the phone stays silent is not weakness. It is the last echo of an old bond asking to be released. I am Merida, a Pleiadian emissary, and I speak to the part of you that has loved too hard, waited too long, explained too much, and still wondered why love felt like a locked door. By the end of this transmission, you will understand why your loneliness was not a sentence, why the ones who could not stay were not your destiny, and how to stand ready for a love that serves the source without asking you to betray your peace. The Starseed Awakening Codex is named for you now, and the link sits in the first pinned comment. Here's the first revelation. The empty space beside you has been a sacred sorting field. It did not come to punish you. It came to show you the difference between devotion and depletion, between chemistry and chaos, between a soul bond and a nervous system addiction. You were not being denied love. You were being trained to stop calling inconsistency a mystery, to stop calling anxiety a sign, to stop calling pursuit proof. Every closed door has been teaching your inner child that love does not need to be begged into staying. Every delay has been strengthening the gate around your heart so that the next one does not enter through pity, hunger, or illusion, but through truth. Prepared does not mean flawless. Prepared means you can feel desire and still keep your center. Prepared means you can receive tenderness without abandoning your own voice. If this speaks to the season you are in, comment. I choose peaceful love, like this transmission, so it reaches the starseeds, still confusing pain with passion. And subscribe, because I will keep walking beside you as this new alignment opens. The first layer was placed upon you before you knew how to name it. You were taught that love must be earned through usefulness. You learned to notice every change in a voice, every pause before a reply, every shift in the air. You became skilled at adjusting yourself before anyone asked you to adjust. You gave comfort before receiving it. You offered understanding before your own feelings had a place at the table. Some of you learned this from a parent who was wounded and could not offer steady warmth. Some learned it from a home where silence carried more danger than words. Some learned it from a culture that praised self-sacrifice and called boundaries selfish. Some learned it from the first person who made you feel chosen, then used that feeling to keep you uncertain. The people who placed these lessons upon you were not always evil. Many were simply repeating what had been placed upon them, but their pain entered your education. Their fear became a rule inside your body. Their absence became a question you kept trying to answer with better behavior. You were not born believing that love disappears when you relax. You were not born believing that you must perform peace while your spirit is shaking. You were not born believing that another person's confusion is your responsibility to solve. Those beliefs were handed to you through repeated moments. A caregiver who withdrew affection. A lover who returned only when you began to leave. A friend who demanded access but offered no care. A family member who praised you most when you needed the least. These experiences taught your heart to stand at attention. This is why calm may have felt empty. Your nervous system had been trained to expect movement, threat, and sudden change. When a person was inconsistent, your body called it familiar. When a person was clear, your body sometimes called it boring. When a person made you wait, you felt the old spark of pursuit and mistook it for destiny. But hear me clearly, Starseed. Familiar does not mean sacred. What I have just described has a name, and it is why I set down the Starseed Awakening Codex. If you have ever felt everything in a room the moment you walk into it, or been told you are too sensitive by people who never asked what you were sensing, the Codex walks you through the 7 sacred portals of remembrance, one at a time, in the order they open. This is not about becoming spiritual enough to deserve your gifts. They were never taken from you, only buried, and that is why the ache feels like memory rather than absence. Every season you postpone this, you keep living from a fraction of what you carry. The link is in the first pinned comment below. Now return with me to the place where your story became a pattern. You met someone, and something in you recognized a possibility. Perhaps the connection was fast. Words came easily. The attraction had a sharp brightness. You felt seen before you were truly known. Messages arrived late at night. Promises appeared before trust had time to grow. The connection seemed to lift you above ordinary life. This is where many starseeds lose their footing. You sense energy quickly, and you may feel the future potential of a person before you have witnessed their present character. You see what they could become. You feel the lesson, the healing, the opening. You call this vision love, but vision is not evidence. A person's potential cannot hold you. Their charm cannot hold you. Their spiritual language cannot hold you. Only their repeated actions can show you whether they are capable of meeting you. The first new revelation is this: the right connection will not require you to investigate it every day. You will not need to study the timing of a message as though it contains a hidden prophecy. You will not need to ask your friends to translate a simple sentence. You will not need to become a detective of affection. Healthy love does not make you earn basic information. This does not mean there will be no mystery. Every human being has depth. Every relationship has seasons that require patience. But healthy mystery invites discovery. Unhealthy mystery creates hunger. One healthy mystery creates hunger. One opens a door. The other keeps you standing outside in the rain. Look at your recent history without judgment. Did you feel more peaceful after contact, or more confused? Did you become more like yourself, or did you begin to edit your voice? Did you have room for your work, your sleep, your friendships, and your body? Or did one person become the weather system controlling every hour? These questions are not accusations. They are instruments of discernment. The second layer placed upon you was the belief that strong feeling must be obeyed. When your chest tightened, you called it a soul signal. When you feared losing someone, you called it a sacred bond. When the person returned after hurting you, you called the relief a reunion. But intensity is not always guidance. Sometimes intensity is an alarm that has been waiting for a familiar sound. You may have felt an almost electric pull toward people who could not offer consistency. This does not mean you were foolish. It means your body recognized a rhythm it had practiced for years. The waiting, the guessing, the brief reward, and the renewed waiting formed a cycle. Each small act of affection became powerful because it came after deprivation. That cycle can feel spiritual because it reaches beneath thought. It moves through appetite, memory, and hope. Yet the depth of a reaction does not prove the purity of its source. A true connection may stir you, but it will also steady you. A true connection may challenge you, but it will not constantly destabilize you. A true connection may awaken desire, but it will not demand the surrender of your judgment. The next phase begins when you stop asking, "How much do I feel?" and begin asking, "What does this feeling lead me to do?" Does it lead you to speak honestly? Does it lead you to speak honestly? Does it lead you to respect your own pace? Does it lead you toward greater patience and self-respect? Or does it lead you to check, chase, excuse, compare, and abandon your daily life? The fruit reveals the tree. When you meet someone new, do not give the connection your entire future in the first week. Let time become a witness. Let ordinary moments reveal what excitement hides. Watch how they handle a delay, a boundary, a disagreement, and a change of plan. Watch whether they can apologize without turning the apology into a performance. Watch whether they ask about your inner life, not only your availability. You do not need to punish them with tests. You do not need to create distance to see if they pursue you. You do not need to pretend you care less than you do. Simply remain present in your own life and observe. That is the new discipline. You remain warm without becoming wide open to everyone. You remain hopeful without making promises on another person's behalf. You allow attraction without giving attraction authority. Some of you have been trained to move quickly because waiting once meant losing the person, but the love aligned with the source will not require you to outrun your own wisdom. It will have room for a real pace. It will survive a question. It will not collapse because you need a night to think. Here is another revelation. Your boundaries are not walls against love. They are the language that teaches love how to reach you. A boundary says, "This is what keeps me whole." It says, "I can care for you without becoming responsible for your choices." It says, "I will not participate in secrecy insults, manipulation, or repeated disappearance. It says, "My compassion does not cancel my discernment." If a person leaves because you asked for clarity, the boundary did not ruin the connection. The boundary revealed its structure. If a person becomes cruel because you said no, the no did not create the cruelty. It uncovered what was waiting beneath the charm. If a person withdraws because you will not abandon your values, then what left was not the love you were meant to carry. I know the silence after a boundary can feel like failure. You may hear old voices saying that you were too demanding, too intense, too difficult to love. But a healthy person may need time to respond and still remain respectful. A healthy person may disagree and still remain present. A healthy person does not require you to become smaller so they can feel large. The third layer was placed by disappointment itself. After enough failed connections, you began to protect yourself by expecting the worst. You said you wanted love, but you prepared for betrayal. You prayed for closeness, but kept one hand on the exit. You called this independence. Sometimes it was wisdom. Sometimes it was wisdom. Sometimes it was grief wearing armor. There is a difference between being unavailable and being discerning. Being unavailable says, no one can be trusted, so no one may approach. Discernment says, trust is built through evidence, and I will let evidence accumulate. Being unavailable rejects before contact. Discernment watches before surrender. Being unavailable uses self-protection to avoid every risk. Discernment accepts the risk of vulnerability while refusing the risk of self-erasure. You do not need to become fearless to be ready. You need to become honest about what fear is doing. Is it warning you about a real pattern? Or is it reacting to a healthy person because calm feels unfamiliar? Is the person truly unavailable? Or are you waiting for them to become someone else? Is your hesitation rooted in present evidence, or in an old ending that still speaks through your mouth? Take these questions into your body. Do not answer them only with hope or fear. Notice what happens after you communicate. Notice whether the other person makes space. Notice whether your needs become safer to express over time. A mature connection is not one in which neither person is triggered. It is one in which triggers do not become weapons. You may still feel jealous. You may still fear abandonment. You may still need reassurance. Preparation does not mean these feelings vanish. It means you stop handing them the steering wheel. You can say, I am feeling afraid, without saying, therefore you must prove your love every hour. You can ask for comfort without demanding that another person repair every wound formed before they arrived. This is how receiving becomes possible. Many of you are comfortable giving because giving lets you control the distance. You offer time, support, understanding, and patience. You become essential. Then you feel safer because the person needs you. But being needed is not the same as being loved. A relationship built on your constant service may collapse the moment you have a hard day. The aligned connection will ask you to receive. Receive a kind word without explaining why you do not deserve it. Receive help without creating a debt in your mind. Receive affection without searching for the hidden condition. Receive another person's effort without immediately preparing to repay it with your entire identity. This may feel strange. You may want to reject a gift, minimize a compliment, or insist that you can handle everything alone. Pause there. Ask whether refusal is truly independence, or whether it is an old promise never to need anyone again. The source did not create you to live as a sealed chamber. You are allowed to be supported. You are allowed to lean without collapsing. You are allowed to let another person witness your humanity before you have arranged it into something impressive. But receiving does not mean accepting anything offered. Your discernment remains active. You can receive kindness and still notice incompatibility. You can appreciate someone's affection and still know they are not your partner. You can honor a person's good qualities without making them right for your life. This is a sacred distinction. Good is not always aligned. Attraction is not always instruction. A beautiful beginning is not a contract with the future. You will know readiness not by the absence of longing, but by the absence of self-betrayal. You can want a relationship and still keep your morning routine. You can miss someone and still refuse to contact them when contact would reopen the wound. You can feel a powerful connection and still ask whether the person is available, honest and capable of repair. You can desire a future and still remain faithful to the truth of today. The waiting season has been building this strength in quiet ways. Every time you let a message remain unanswered without creating a story, you practiced freedom. Every time you stopped explaining your worth to someone committed to misunderstanding you, you practiced dignity. Every time you chose sleep over emotional pursuit, you taught your body that peace is not abandonment. Do not despise the ordinary actions that healed you. Healing did not always arrive as a vision. Often it arrived as a deleted number, a meal eaten on time, a walk taken while your heart was heavy, a truthful conversation with yourself. Your soul grew through these small decisions. At about this stage, the Codex may help you recognize which inner portal is asking to be remembered, especially when you are learning to receive without returning to old survival roles. Now let us speak of the person who may be approaching your life, or of the connection already forming at its edge. Do not search for them by appearance alone. Do not create a shrine from a name, a birth date, or a coincidence. The aligned person may not arrive in the form your wounded imagination designed. They may be quieter than the people who once captivated you. They may not flood you with attention. They may not mirror every interest or use the same spiritual vocabulary. Look for the quality of the ground between you. Can you speak and be heard? Can they tell the truth when the truth is inconvenient? Can you both make plans and honor them? Can conflict lead to understanding instead of punishment? Can you remain separate people without treating separation as rejection? The right person will not be perfect. They will have history, defenses, blind spots, and moments of fear. What matters is whether they take responsibility for the effect they create. Do they repair? Do they learn? Do they become more honest when closeness increases, or more controlling? The person aligned with your path will not ask you to worship their potential. They will show you their character in repeated, ordinary ways. They will not only speak about healing, they will practice it when frustrated. They will not only praise your sensitivity, they will respect what your sensitivity reveals. They will not only desire your body, they will care for your nervous system, your time, your purpose, and your right to say no. You will not have to force the relationship to become sacred. Reverence will be visible in how both of you handle the human details. This is where the old pattern may attempt one final disguise. When healthy love appears, you may feel tempted to create a crisis, because crisis gives you something familiar to solve. You may test the person, delay your reply, provoke jealousy, or hide a need so you can see whether they discover it. Do not shame yourself if this happens. Notice it quickly. Say what is true before the pattern gains momentum. I am afraid of being disappointed. I need clarity. I noticed I wanted to pull away instead of speaking. These words may feel less powerful than a test, but they create a real bridge. The source does not need you to perform perfection. The source asks for participation in truth. You may also be tempted to overgive when the person finally shows consistency. You may think, at last, someone safe. I must prove that I am worth keeping. Then you offer immediate access to every wound, every hour, every dream, and every resource. Slow down, beloved. Safety is not proven by how quickly you surrender. Let intimacy grow in layers. A seed does not become a tree because you pull on its leaves. Let the connection develop roots. Continue working. Continue seeing your friends. Continue caring for your body. Continue making choices that would still be right if the relationship changed tomorrow. This is not pessimism. It is spiritual balance. Your life is not a waiting room for romance. The relationship aligned with the source will join your life, not replace it. It will make more room for your purpose, not demand that purpose disappear. It will challenge your habits, not attack your identity. It will bring closeness without captivity. You may recognize the next phase by the way your standards change. Before, you may have asked, do they want me? Now you ask, can we build something honest together? Before, you may have measured love by how intensely someone pursued you. Now you measure it by whether their presence remains respectful after the pursuit ends. Before us, you may have celebrated being chosen. Now you remember that you are also choosing. This is important, Starseed. You are not an object waiting for a verdict. You are not a prize to be won by the most persistent person. You are a living field of purpose, and access to your heart is a mutual decision. Do not confuse being desired with being cherished. Do not confuse being missed with being valued. Do not confuse someone's fear of losing access with their readiness to build a life. The healed part of you will listen to words, but it will trust patterns more. If they say they want commitment but keep you hidden, trust the pattern. If they say they respect your boundary but punish you for having one, trust the pattern. If they say they are confused yet expect your devotion, trust the pattern. If they say they care while making you chronically anxious, trust the pattern. This is not cynicism, it is clean sight. And clean sight will protect the love that is meant to remain. There may come a moment when the new person does something small that the old ones never did. They will ask, then wait for your answer. They will remember a detail without using it to impress you. They will make room for your no. They will speak of the future without pressuring you to promise it. They will return after a disagreement with humility rather than a demand for instant closeness. Your old self may overlook these gestures because they are not dramatic. Your healed self will recognize them as sacred. Stability can be quiet at first. It may not create the rush you once called chemistry. It may feel like a room with the windows open. It may feel unfamiliar because nothing is chasing you. Let yourself learn this new sensation. Let peace become attractive. Let reliability awaken your desire. Let tenderness move at a human pace. The final layer of diagnosis rests beneath the others. You have been afraid that if you stop chasing love, love will never find you. This fear made you overwork the future. You searched signs, timelines, platforms, dreams, and distant possibilities. You tried to predict the arrival so you would not be surprised by disappointment. But your work is not to summon a person through force. Your work is to become available to truth. Availability means your heart is open, but your life is not empty. It means you can recognize an invitation without turning it into an obsession. It means you can say yes with discernment and no without guilt. It means you can remain in motion while the right connection is still forming beyond your sight. Keep living. Apply for the opportunity. Take the class. Visit the place. Repair the friendship that is worthy of repair. Leave the room that keeps making you question your value. Build a life that would make your soul proud even if romance arrived later than expected. Do not put your becoming on hold for a face you have not met. Do not make loneliness the judge of your worth. Do not let the calendar convince you that delay means denial. Some connections arrive after you have stopped begging the wrong door to open. Some arrive when your attention returns to your purpose. Some arrive when you are no longer trying to be chosen by someone who benefits from your uncertainty. This does not mean you must stop desiring love. Desire is not a flaw. It is a current. Guide it. Give it direction. Let it call you toward a relationship where both people can remain whole. If the right person is already near, your new discernment will change how you meet them. You will not rush to fill every silence. You will not hide every need. You will not use your pain as proof that they must rescue you. You will speak, observe, receive, and choose. If the right person is not yet visible, the same discernment will still serve you. You will recognize false doors sooner. You will recover faster. You will no longer spend years decorating a connection that has no foundation. This is the freedom your waiting has been preparing, not freedom from love. Freedom within love. You are becoming someone who can stay present without clinging, care deeply without controlling, and walk away without declaring that love itself has failed. That is emotional maturity in the language of the stars, and when the new connection arrives, it may not ask, "How much can you sacrifice for me?" It may ask, "Can we tell the truth here?" It may not demand that you prove your devotion through suffering. It may invite you to build through patience. It may not awaken the old panic of being left. It may awaken the deeper question of whether you are willing to be fully seen while remaining loyal to yourself. Stay with that question as you move through the days ahead. Let your answer come through choices, not promises. Let your peace become a standard, so familiar that anything threatening, it is recognized before it is crowned as destiny. This is why your preparation matters beyond your private happiness. The love you are learning to receive is not only a comfort for your heart, it is part of your mission. Every peaceful bond you create becomes a living example of what is possible when two people choose truth over performance, respect over control, and growth over fear. Your relationship patterns do not remain only between you and another person. They shape the energy you carry into families, friendships, communities, and every space your presence touches. When you stop repeating chaos, you interrupt an old inheritance. When you stop rewarding silence, manipulation, and emotional absence, you weaken a pattern that has traveled through generations. When you choose a love that allows both souls to breathe, you send a new instruction into the human field. This is why the season of waiting was not empty. You are not only preparing to meet someone, you are preparing to become safe for the love you once prayed for. You are learning how to speak without attacking, listen without disappearing, and protect your boundaries without building walls around your heart. You are learning that tenderness does not require surrendering your discernment. You are learning that forgiveness does not always mean renewed access. You are learning that compassion for another person cannot become betrayal of yourself. These lessons are sacred tools for your mission. A starseed who cannot distinguish peace from numbness or intensity from intimacy can be pulled away from their path by any connection that activates an old wound. A starseed who has developed awareness can love with open eyes. You can recognize the difference between a bond that expands your life and a bond that consumes it. You do not need to reject love to remain sovereign. You do not need to become cold to become wise. You do not need to expect betrayal in order to protect your spirit. You need only remain awake. Let your heart stay warm, and let your standards stay clear. Let your compassion be guided by evidence. Let your hope walk beside patience. Let your longing speak, but do not let it make every decision. The new connection aligned with your purpose will not require you to become smaller, so another person can feel powerful. It will not ask you to hide your gifts, question your instincts, or apologize for having needs. It will not punish you for telling the truth. It will not make you earn basic care through endless proving. There will still be human imperfections. There may be awkward moments, misunderstandings, and days when both of you need to learn. Alignment does not mean a life without friction. It means there is enough honesty to repair what friction reveals. You will not have to be perfect to be loved well. You will have to be present. You will have to be accountable. You will have to notice when fear speaks through you and take responsibility for what fear creates. You will have to know when to soften and when to stand firm. You will have to let another person be human without turning their humanity into an excuse for repeated harm. This is the sacred balance you are entering. I, Marita, tell you now that your past does not disqualify you from this future. The relationships that ended did not prove that you are difficult to love. The years without partnership did not prove that you were overlooked by the universe. The mistakes you made did not erase your soul agreement. You were never broken. You were never late. You were never forgotten. I speak this over your life as a decree. No delay has removed you from the current of divine love. No rejection has canceled your purpose. No lonely night has made you less worthy of tenderness. No former version of you has the authority to condemn the one you are becoming. You are released from the belief that you must suffer before you can receive. You are released from the belief that being chosen by another person determines your value. You are released from the belief that your heart must remain in an old room because you once loved someone there. The source has not been withholding love as punishment. The source has been guiding you toward a love that does not demand the destruction of your inner truth. Trust what has been removed. Trust what has been removed. Trust the wisdom that now rises in your body when a promise does not match a pattern. Trust the quiet signal that says, wait and observe. Trust the strength that says, I can care about this person and still choose what is healthy for me. Your next relationship must not become another altar where you sacrifice your peace. Let it become a meeting place for two whole beings, each responsible for their own healing, each willing to grow, each free to give without fear and receive without debt. This is how love becomes service, not because you disappear inside it, but because your union creates more light than either person could create through fear alone. Your shared stability may help others believe that gentleness is strong. Your honest communication may teach children around you that conflict can be met without cruelty. Your boundaries may show someone watching that self-respect is not selfishness. The love you build can become part of the healing of the world. But do not make that mission another reason to rush. You are not required to find someone quickly in order to fulfill your destiny. Your mission is active now. It is present in the way you work, recover, create, pray, rest, and choose. It is present in the way you treat your own spirit when no one is applauding. Keep living, keep learning, keep making your days beautiful in ways that do not depend on a message, a promise, or a relationship status. Take the walk. Finish the work. Call the friend who brings you back to yourself. Let your body know it is not waiting in a prison. Let your life continue to open while love finds its correct timing. Do not pause your becoming at the edge of a possibility. The aligned person will not need you to abandon your life in order to prove that you are ready. They will meet the life you are already building and add truth to it. You will not have to chase them out of a hidden place. You will recognize one another through the quality of presence, through the willingness to be clear, through the relief of not having to perform. And if a connection arrives that looks beautiful but repeatedly disturbs your deepest knowing, you are allowed to step back. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to leave before the lesson becomes another wound. This is not failure. This is wisdom in motion. Your soul has carried you through enough confusion. Now let your choices become clean. Do not negotiate with what consistently drains your dignity. Do not call a familiar ache a sacred assignment. Do not mistake being needed for being loved. I am not asking you to close your heart. I am asking you to place a conscious guardian at its entrance. Let love come through the doorway of mutual respect. Let devotion come through the doorway of consistency. Let desire come through the doorway of truth. Let the future find you engaged with life, not kneeling before uncertainty. For those who feel called to go deeper, the Starseed Awakening Codex guides you through the 7 sacred portals of remembrance, a transformative journey to reconnect with your inner wisdom, awaken hidden gifts, strengthen intuition, and discover the purpose your soul has always carried, with exclusive bonus ebooks. This edition is available for a limited time only. The link is in the first pinned comment below. Use it as a companion for this passage. Return to its teachings when the old voice tells you that you must accept less. Return to your inner wisdom when attraction tries to outrun discernment. Let the portals remind you that your gifts were never taken from you. They were waiting beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the stories that taught you to doubt your own perception. You are entering love differently because you are entering yourself more honestly. You are not waiting to be completed. You are becoming available to be met. There is a great difference. The first position gives another person the power to define your life. The second allows love to join a life that already has a soul, a direction, and a center. This is the kind of connection that can serve the source. It does not steal your light. It helps your light become more useful. So go forward without forcing the door. Do not measure your worth by the calendar. Do not treat your present solitude as evidence against your future. Let each day refine you without hardening you. Let every choice of peace prepare the ground. Let every honest boundary become a blessing for the person who will one day meet you with clean hands and a clear heart. I declare that what is aligned with your highest path will not require you to betray your values. It will not demand the price of your peace. It will arrive in a form your mature heart can recognize, and you will have the courage to receive it without abandoning yourself. Until then, live as the love you are asking to meet. Choose peaceful love. Write those words in the comments, and while you are there, answer another soul who is learning the same lesson. Your reply may become the small light they needed today, like this transmission, so it can reach more Pleiadian starseeds. and subscribe to remain connected to these messages from me, Marita. You are never broken, never late, never forgotten. You are awake, guided, and becoming ready in the exact way your soul requires. Go in peace, and let love find you walking.